places never to put your penis.
Hello, yeah, I'll be doing this part here, like the talking, describing parts. I shot a bunch out there, too windy. So this is the Terava Skrama review. I've just got back from spending a bit of time out in the bush with it. This is a big, beastly cutting implement. It's not quite a knife, not quite a machete. Very, very heavy duty and very much multi-purpose, I found. Very, very cool item. Now, I always preface these videos with, when I'm in leisure time, when I'm not on YouTube time, doing YouTube duties, when I go out camping, I will generally take a folding saw, maybe a little knife like this. This actually still came in handy during the review. This is my Creeley Blades Mako. Just a little knife for like food prep and some wood whittling, and sometimes an axe if I'm going to be maybe doing a bit more of a, you know, bushcraft sort of thing. So this generally isn't my spec for my part of the world, or for really my needs, but they are still hella fun, and fun is definitely a commodity with knives, and it is an absolutely valid reason to buy a knife just for fun and to have it. That's kind of why I got this one. And also because my Patreons said, hey, try the Terava Skrama. We want to see a review on that. So that's what I've done. So, the basics, we'll get to some cool use stuff. Just the basics. This is a big old blade. What I'll do now is I'll run in a montage of some size comparisons, including the length as well as the thickness versus some other big blades. So check this out. Cool, so there we go. So it's a larger knife, for sure. Knife slash machete. What would you call it? A throw? Who knows? It almost is. This is a blade made of 80 CRV2 steel, which is a really good impact steel. Over the course of my use with it, I have noticed it is definitely warped a little bit. So it's not a smooth, straight edge anymore. It has bumps and knocks and rolls in it and that sort of thing. No chips though, just knocks, little dents, and that is from Australian wood. Australian wood, when it is dead, which is what I was cutting, is really, really hard and glassy. And inside the sap, which is maybe the yellow stuff that you'll see, is a really, really sort of powdery, dusty, almost crystalline substance that does really damage the edge of a knife or axe or frankly anything when you're cutting. A saw is your friend against the dead Australian trees that I'm coming up against. But the 80 CRV steel did really, really well. Comparatively to things like 1095, I find that it holds its edge a little bit better. Feels like, to me, in use and sharpening and in everything, somewhere between 1095 and 01. Kind of just how it reacts, well, when I use it anyway, my environs. So yeah, really, really happy with a huge piece of it for a really good price as well. So these are about 60 US dollars, about 110 once you get it to Australia. But what else do you get for $110 in Australia that is made by a reputable brand of a really good steel like this with a, you know, a specific design? Yeah, you can get Gerber Gator machetes for half the price of this, but I mean, they're made of like 3CR13, they're, you know, a third of the thickness, and they're frankly junky. This is what you would get, and my conclusions on this, which I guess I'm preemptively doing, this is really something for anyone. I reckon if they hung these up in just outdoor stores, full drivers who've never even thought of knives or cutting tools before would be picking these up because they just look utilitarian, non-threatening due to the, you know, it just looks like a big old harvesting or farm tool or gardening tool or something like that. Really, really well done and broadly appealing, I would say. So yeah, I took this camping. And I did some, you know, as I said, not my primary tool of choice, but I did all the cool stuff with it. So let's have a look at the clips. Alrighty, so after having used it for a fair while, I noticed the handle was fairly comfortable. I had some soreness in my hand when I did do the chopping, but again, I'm chopping into really hard wood with barely any give. My experiences of that chopping where and how the knife performed were that it really bit in there. It cuts very axe-like. I don't know, they say the knife can't cut like an axe, but this is about as close as I've come before to the bites that say a light axe would take into some wood versus this. And it's funny because the design is almost like not particularly forward heavy. It's just a big old straight, slightly trailing point there. Like it's, you're doing the primary bit of the chopping here to here. And still, it really seems to cut it. It must be the geos, the weight, I don't know. Very cool. But yeah, the handle, slight discomfort, but again, such hard wood. I really do enjoy the grips that you can use on this, so you can hold it up really close towards the blade, you can hold it halfway down, you can hold it at the end. There's like 3 little waves there to accommodate really however you want to hold it. It's not too jazzy, it's not too plain, it's nice and grippy because of the rubber over mold material. It's pretty good. I did notice some degradation on the handle just from the top here, from where I've obviously hit it a couple of times with the baton. That's going to happen. The choice is always yours. You can get either a slab handled knife that you can pummel all day, some G10 handles or something, or you can go over mold, a bit more shock absorbance, but it's going to wear and it's going to show that it's wear. But this has got obviously blade for days in it still. It's just a tiny little nook take out there, so I'm not too bothered. So really happy with its hard use performance. In terms of when I got down to the fire and started to, do my shavings, yeah, it can do okay, and it certainly, there's a lot of, a lot of control here over this immediate portion of the knife to there. You can do all your carving and whittling if you wanted, but then you're getting a pretty unwieldy long thing. I found myself just subconsciously putting this end into the dirt. Not everywhere you go, you're gonna have a nice platform to build a fire or anything like that. It's always a bit rough, a bit haphazard, especially with me when I'm not an expert, I'm not a outdoorsman. I'm just a guy who goes camping from time to time and makes a fire because it's fun to do it with a knife rather than with store-bought fire loads. So there you go. I did find myself relying a little bit on my little EDC knife from time to time just to get some extra curls going, just to actually get the thing going. So, man. If you are a cool super expert, then, which I'm sure you are if you're in the YouTube comments, then by all means, you're probably going to have just a fine time with this. Me, I needed a bit of extra go from just a smaller, more controllable, thinner blade. So that's just my experience. But yeah, makes a fire, would make a fire if you had a bit more skill than me on its own, I have no doubt, but there you go. Its overall durability is absolutely fine. Just note that on the handle, some degradation if you are clumsy and hit it with your baton. The steel is something you have to take care of. You can probably see here, and I will show it up closer. It's got a fair amount of rust on it already, and this is just from using it over a couple of days and not wiping it down. Some of it is sap, yes, but there is some ingrained speckled rust in there as well. Not the end of the world, it'll clear off just fine, but definitely a tool requiring maintenance. I do like the black sort of black wash coating here. It does do the job. It has kept all the rust and crap off of this part of the knife. But yeah, that shiny edge, cool as it looks, and I guess, it's nice and eye-catching, and it does look like, oh, careful, that's a big edge there. Sort of practical for that extent as well. Yeah, it's going to tarnish, so just something you need to know. But overall, with the steel you're getting, I can't think of anything stainless that could do this for you. You'd have to make it out of like CPM 154, which would put the cost up heaps, or 420HC, which would dull really quickly. So I think for a big chopper, you just deal with it, don't you? So yeah, my camping section was really fun. I had a nice time. It was good with it. Again, still hasn't won me over to take big things like this when I go. I'm still just going to carry what I like to carry, but always happy to take it for review and for fun. So, I've probably teased you horribly with that awesome opening little montage. So let's just do some silly shit with it, shall we? Now, last thing, can I destroy it? No, I could not. Bravo, Skrama. You have batoned the horrible Australian wood and lived to tell the tale. At any rate, guys, that's my review of the Terava Skrama, and I hope you've enjoyed. You can get these with a sheath from Terava. They're from Varus Delica, but you have to wait. You can get them fairly frequently just with the plastic slip that I got. Now, this is a knife that I would never really wear on my hip. It's just too big. To dangle around it pissed me off when I sat down. So I'm happy with this. This was fine. It actually slips on and off tight enough that it's not gonna, like with the Yukari Puko, the knife that I had, it just kind of flops on and off. This one actually has some give. So definitely good enough for keeping it in a bag. You could probably make something out of it if you were handy. But for me, it'll just sit like this and probably hang on a hook in my shed wall. So it's all good with me. But yeah, you can wait a bit longer and pay an extra, I think 40 or 50 bucks for a really nice leather sheath, I think. But otherwise, they're more frequently available just with this. About 60 bucks American. It was about 110 realistically once I got into Australia. Came really fast though. Just one little side note, 4 days from Finland, so bravo. Really good company to deal with, really good shop to deal with as well, so wholeheartedly recommend. And I recommend this whole package and I recommend dealing with it, and I've had a really nice time and I'm glad I got this. I don't have any other big knives apart from a RTAC 2 that has just arrived, and I'm going to compare that to this in its review, and to be honest, I think this is going to kill it, but you never know. Alright guys, I hope you've enjoyed. I will see you all in the next video. Bye now.